Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we're going to be talking about minimalism and why I think we shouldn't be necessarily participating in it right now, given the current economic situation. So what is minimalism? Essentially, it's the value or the practice of keeping the things that you value around and the things that you don't, not around. And while I absolutely love watching videos about minimalism and trying to learn different ways to incorporate it into my life, I do also recognize that it may not be the smartest strategy at this time when a lot of us are worried about rising costs and the possibility of even losing our job or having to get a second job if that situation arises for us. So while I do think that you can practice minimalism even if you don't have a lot, I just don't think it is the smartest thing to do right now. If you're in the camp of you need to get rid of all of the things that you don't use, I do feel like there is an element of privilege when it comes to being able to comfortably practice minimalism. However, with everything, if you take it with a grain of salt or are balanced about how you approach it, you can practice minimalism. However, again, given the state of the economy, I do think that there is benefit to practicing the opposite of a minimalism or just trying to achieve a balance and not feeling ashamed if you have more or you have more clutter in your house than if you have a very clear open space. When it comes to financial minimalism, I think that's a little bit different, and I do think I try to practice that. However, when it comes to the stuff that you actually have, I do think there is benefit or smarter ways to utilize the space that you have and the things you have instead of just trying to get rid of everything. So I want to go over some reasons why I think that you should practice the opposite of minimalism or embrace the things that you already have in your home or in your life. The first factor being inflation. With the rising cost of pretty much everything, it's really important to consider the fact that if you end up needing to repurchase something that you gave away or donated or even sold, it might end up costing you a lot more than when you initially bought it the first time around. And on top of that, we're also spending a lot more when it comes to our groceries or things around the house anyway. So our budgets are a lot smaller and we don't have as much disposable income that we used to probably have before. So this means that for the most part, we're probably already spending more than we were previously, even though we may even be buying the exact same things every single month. For this reason, I think it's really important to reconsider our potential donations or the things we want to declutter from our life, because it may not be worth it for us if we do see ourselves needing it in the next couple of months. I know that's usually the opposite of what minimalists want us to think, and I do agree with them to some degree, but I just don't think right now is the time. And if you're looking for tips on how to be more frugal, I will link this video for you over here, I think, and definitely check that out. The second factor I really think we should consider is the fact that shrinkflation is happening everywhere. Shrinkflation is basically when the cost of the product is the same, however, the amount that you're getting has reduced and you might not even notice it. And also what I have seen is the quality of the product may also be reduced. I have noticed this in pretty much every single thing that I buy, and I find it so upsetting. If the price has not gone up and it stayed the same, it's because you're getting a lot less product. So that means that you're going to end up having to buy more of the same thing just to get the same amount that you were getting before. So you are spending a lot more. This is another reason why you won't have space in your budget to make repurchases down the line or even other purchases that you may end up needing to make. There was an episode on the marketplace that went into this, and everything that they found was really insane to see, because I really do feel like a lot of people don't realize why they're spending more. This goes straight into my third factor, which is that we are definitely seeing worsening quality in pretty much everything, not just groceries. So specifically, if we go into clothing, I have definitely noticed even brand name clothing items have worse quality than before. About a few years ago, I went and bought lots of items from a brand name store that I really like, and the quality was really decent for what I was paying them for. However, just a few months ago, I went back again and the quality was not there. It felt very cheap, and I could not believe that they were actually selling this. Like, it felt like a knockoff, to be honest. And side note, for the most part, you don't necessarily need to spend a huge amount of money to get a quality product. If you take care of your clothing well, you will have clothes that last you forever. I know a lot of people say, obviously, like, avoid fast fashion and everything, but I do feel like fast fashion items that I have bought several years ago still function just as fine today because I've taken care of my things. And right now is a great time to do our best to take care of the clothes that we have so we don't have to replace them. I was considering donating a lot of my clothing. However, when I went to the stores in the last couple of months, I felt like if I had to repurchase anything or I decide I need to get an item in the future, I will not be able to get nearly as good quality of a product than the stuff I have already. So I want to just keep what I have, and even though I do agree I have some excess, I'd rather just take really good care of it and store the items that I don't need to use right now so I can use it later on, because I know I will make sure I get use out of my things. So basically, take take care of the items that you already have so that you don't have to buy or repurchase an item in the future that is more expensive and poorer in quality. The really big category for a lot of people is appliances. I have lots of appliances. My one thing that I love to spend money on is kitchen appliances. I like to have brand name everything if I can. I like to have the nicest stuff that I think is worth the money. And I have to say, like, I take really good care of my appliances, and a lot of people will get rid of their appliances if they haven't been using them that much. And I understand that, especially if you've used it once and you've like never had the desire to use it again. Yeah, sure, I guess you could declutter it. I do also feel like appliances are of poorer quality now, and the prices of those items are also going up. So I'd rather have my same machine that I've had for 5 years instead of trying to get a new one a year down the line after donating the one I have, because I really do feel like the quality of the product will be totally different, and the things that were made in the past were built to last. I feel like every single year the quality goes down a tad bit, so I don't want to risk getting a poor version of the same item. So these are all the factors that I think are really important to consider before you decide to declutter some items that you have. But now you might be thinking, but I do want to practice minimalism. I do like open, clear, decluttered spaces. So what should I do? So I do have some tips for you that I think could be helpful. The first tip being that you should maximize the spaces that you have and take advantage of vertical spaces and boxes. I love boxes, but that's a video for another day. So for example, I have lots and lots of clothing. I decided to take all of them out and hang them up. I find that too overwhelming. So I ended up keeping some of my clothes back in boxes just because I know this is seasonal wear or clothes I'm not going to be reaching for right now, maybe in a couple months. So then I can switch those things out later on, but now I don't have a very overwhelming space. And also, if there are items that you know for a fact you will not use now or probably ever, then I do suggest that you should consider decluttering those items if you know for sure that these items will not provide any value for you now or in like the far distant future. This will make room for the items that you do want to keep. I do think that those are the items that you should be trying to maximize your home for. You do have a cluttered space already. You're using the space somehow, but now you can use it in a little bit more of an efficient way so that you can maximize the space you have and keep the things you want in a more organized fashion. So you can take basically minimalism and organization together to kind of achieve a balance and not have to get rid of everything in case you need it in the near future. Boxes are definitely your friend. So let me know in the comments below what items you are decluttering, or if you're going to be a bit of a maximalist like me right now during these times, and what your thought process is. Definitely give me a like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos. This is the second video in a 3-part series about being more frugal and minding your budget during these really tough times, and I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, definitely leave a like below, and I will see you guys in the next video.